Give me my theme music.
Buff Nation, welcome into Buffs News Weekly Live. I'm your host, Russ Dornish. Thank you for joining me on this impromptu stream. As what is going on right now, the Colorado Buffaloes just dropped their spring 2025 roster, and there are a number of omissions on the roster and quite a number of other things that we need to discuss when it comes to the roster for the spring officially being dropped. So let's jump into it. But before we do, of course, hit that like if you know and you love what we're doing here. It's always appreciative. It always helps this channel grow. It always helps support the channel. So hit that like real quick. Make sure that you're subscribed so you can talk to us in the chat. If you're over on Twitter, jump over to YouTube. You can be a part of the conversation as we go through this today, because there is a lot of stuff in a matter of moments that has changed with the Colorado Buffaloes. So before we get started, let me go ahead and say a quick hello to the chat. Welcome in, Mark. Appreciate you. Much love from Florida. Appreciate that. How's it going, buddy? Kai knew it was going in this direction. Yep. D-Nice, not surprised in the least. I could tell from the first interaction Isaiah had with Coach Falk that he was over it. Hardly matters. There will be more talented players request a spot on the squad. Number 29 may have a chance to start. What's good, Turbo? Appreciate you dropping by. Hey, and someone in the chat, I can't remember who it was. If you're one of the I know it was one of the regulars, posted about one of the players that was leaving, and they were in fact correct. So they said that they talked to an equipment manager on the team who let them know that it was true. And guess what? It was true. So, hey, they must have a connection to this team. So absolutely awesome thing. What's up, Jerry? Appreciate you dropping by. Big Mike in the house. Yep, we're all saying the same thing. Plus, he's the only difference in styles and build. Charlie, Hayden, Hood, and Welch are all similar. Yep, he rubbed Falk the wrong way. He had that Booby Miles attitude, and Falk didn't like it. Y'all can't be on the young man that is hitting the portal. Just a few weeks ago, you're all praising Zay. There's that. Yes, sir. It was obvious. Appreciate you guys jumping in 1,000%. Hey, I liked Augustov. He was one of the better running backs we had last year. I thought he was going to have a big part in this offense going forward. Obviously, something did not click, whether that was from the coaching staff or whether that was from, the player himself. We will never know. We can only speculate. I don't like to speculate, guys. I really don't. So the big thing we can say with that is let's see where Isaiah goes. If Isaiah ends up at Wyoming after the announcement yesterday, by the way, that Coach Flea is with Wyoming now, maybe that tells you a lot about the coaching staff and what Isaiah thought of the hire and the removal of Coach Flea, which, by the way, there is kind of a massive tidbit there that we need to talk about real quick before we get into the roster and the players, because the announcement of Coach Flea going to the University of Wyoming tells us a little bit more about that, because we all thought and assumed that it was health related for Coach Flea. We knew that he was going through some health matters, some health issues. Either one of two things happened. Either the health issues came up and he wasn't sure if he could coach, so Coach Prime moved on, or Coach Prime moved on no matter what and wanted Marshall Falk as the running backs coach and let Coach Flea go. The fact that Coach Flea is now going to be coaching at Wyoming tells you a lot about that situation, okay? Absolutely. And hey, I get it. He is your best running back by stats. It isn't ever good, but I think your last statement is what we need to really focus on. I'm not worried about this position when you have Marshall Falk coaching the running backs, okay? The portal's going to be bumping. We're going to find a player to replace him. And perhaps we might even find an impact running back to bring in who's now going to see that there is a potential opening for them and the chance to go and play under Marshall Faulk. So that is going to be the first big thing, guys. But I just want to say, we don't think that Isaiah is the only player that has officially left for the portal. There are a couple of other players that are no longer on the spring roster that we need to pay attention to, because last year when this happened, it was not a case of forgetting. It was not a case of injury. It was not a case of any of that. It was a case that those players had left the program. There are a couple more on the roster that looks like they are no longer with us. Big Mike named one. Savion Riley, not listed on the spring roster. Isaiah Augustov, not listed on the spring roster anymore. The other player that is no longer listed on the roster anymore, which, by the way, not a huge surprise, but kind of makes sense, is tight end Sam Hart, the transfer in from Ohio State. Those are the only other three. I know that somebody keeps saying Sammy O. The thing is, we have not heard anything on him, and I believe he is on the roster. Let me double check, okay? I am going to double check that Sammy O is still on the roster real quick. I'm going to bring it up for you guys just so you know. Give me 1 second to, why is it not pulling up the find? Control F, find on page. Come on. Okay, it's still not bringing it up. Where is my find on page? So I'm going to bring it up right now. I'm going to bring up the roster. We're going to go through it together. We're going to share, talk about it, because it also gives us updates on players' weight, just so you guys know. That's another important thing that we get to see in the spring roster as well. Okay, so real quick, I want to bring up this. Obviously, this is the big news. He is no longer with the program. It has been confirmed by Scott Proctor. He's also not on the spring roster. The other thing I want to bring up real quick, guys, before we get into kind of looking at the players and looking what's going on with the team. Look at this, guys. So based on the roster, Scott Proctor did a great job of comparing them. Jordan Seaton is now at 330 pounds. By the way, this time last year, he was 285. How about that, guys? Draylon Miller, which everybody's been talking about, he's definitely put on some weight. 220 for Draylon after he came in at 195. Omarion also was at 195, but he is bumped up to 210. And here's the big one. Look at Chauncey and Jay Gardenhire, both listed at 380 pounds. That might be a little too big. I don't know. You guys can tell me whether or not you look at that and think that. So let's take a look at the roster, what we got right now. Number 3, Colton Hood. Caden Salter also wearing number 3 on the offensive side. Omarion Miller, RJ Johnson, Draylon Miller, Dallin Hayden, DJ McKinney, Joseph Williams, Julian Lewis. Makari Vickers is listed on the roster still, even after his heart procedure. Listed at the number 10 spot. Tafiq Byard, 11. Caleb Mathis, 13. Colton Allen, quarterback, 14. Quinnell Farrakhan, 14. Quentin Gibson, 15. Let's keep going through this. Now, everybody wants to know, is Sam Okunlola on the roster still? Let's pull it up and double check if he is listed on the roster. Because the other player that's not, and I'm a little worried, but I've been also hearing that they're injured. I'm hoping that's the case. I'm hoping that they didn't leave, but it could potentially be one of our best edge players in the room, may not still be on the roster anymore. And I'm not seeing them either. Where is Okunlola? Oh, no. Oh, no. Did we just go from... Nope, there's Sam Okunlola. He is on the roster, guys. Okay? But the player in question is not. And the other player that is missing from this roster is Keaton Wade, defensive end. Keaton Wade is not active on this, alongside Savion Riley, alongside Sam Hart, tight end. Those, along with Isaiah Augustov, are players who are no longer on the listed active roster. Does that mean that they are leaving? Not necessarily. We can't confirm that just yet. But the tweets that I saw online today had the fact that not only is Isaiah Augustov off the roster, But also Keaton Wade, Savion Riley, and Sam Hart are not listed on the roster anymore. So we could potentially have lost one of our top defensive ends. I saw him working out as well. That's why I'm saying I'm not going to speculate just yet. Okay. Again, putting the asterisk, they're just not on the roster. We can look into it as much as we want. Let's wait and see if that gets confirmed. Okay. I know that Wade has been hurt and that he has been, doing other things. Very well could just be hurt. Okay. Very well could be. We're not confirming it just yet, but it could also mean that, yes, they're off the roster. We're going to have to see in the next couple days. This changes our priority for the portal, guys. This changes everything for the portal. However, I'm not as worried. Another great point that Jake from DNVR also pointed out, guys. Look at this, okay? Look at this. Players over 300 pounds on CU's roster in the Coach Prime era. Year 1, there were only 10. Year 2, there were 15. Right now, we are sitting at 21. We are getting bigger. We are getting stronger. We are getting turned into a Division I program, okay? A Division I program that you got to pay attention to. Now, here's the thing that people are bringing up. Did Wade leave because of his brother? You guys got to remember that his brother went and is playing what? Division II now? He's not playing Division I Power 4 football anymore. I do not believe that Keaton Wade is going to go follow his brother to a lower level. Okay? Absolutely. So when that happens, you're not seeing him follow his brother. I said that all along when that occurred. I was not worried about him going and following his brother. Now, could he be leaving the program to go to another Power 4? He's a Power 4 football player. The way that he ended the season last year absolutely says he was a part of this program. So either one of three things happen. Either he's still on the roster, he's just hurt. Either he's leaving to go to another Division Power 4 program for whatever reason, or this is another one that could be there. Maybe the injury is just that bad. Maybe the injury is just that bad and we just have not found out about it. Okay? He's been injured. He's not been participating, so maybe that's why he's off the roster. Again, I don't want to go too much on that one. I want to move on to the other players. I want to move on to the other positions and really talk about that, guys. Okay? Really talk about that. Now, let's really get down to the nitty-gritty because I'm already seeing a few people in the chat doing this, okay? Don't worry, Robert. Okay? Listen to me. Listen to me really close, guys. Okay? Look me in the eyes. Get close. Okay? We will be okay. We will be okay. I said this literally yesterday. I said there are going to be surprises in the portal. There always are surprises for every team in the country in the portal. Players that fans believe are going to have a huge impact on the team, and then what happens? They leave. Okay? We can't panic. One. And two, it's different if they left after the portal, okay? The players who leave late in the cycle are the players that hurt their team the most because it means that that team has not had a chance to fill that player. The fact that if this is happening, okay, Coach Prime knows. Coach Prime knows that this was going to happen. He's already on the phones with players. They're already looking for players to fill these spots. They're constantly looking to improve this team, guys. So the fact that one player or two players or three players or whoever leaves, does it hurt at the time? Yes. But is it going to be detrimental to the team to where we are going to all of a sudden now suck? If last week you were playing like, hey, we're going to be unbelievably good, everything's great, and then three players leave the program this week and you're like, it's the end of the world, or the team is over, or I'm worried, I don't think we're going to be able to compete. Those are two separate things, guys. We're jumping at conclusions. We're jumping off a cliff before we need to, okay? Back up from that cliff, back up from the edge, take a deep breath with me. We're going to be okay, okay? We're going to be okay, okay? By the way, Lots of chats in the chat. We're almost to 300 viewers. Okay. I'll do my best to get to as many comments as I can, but they are fast and furious right now as I talk. So if you for sure, especially on a show like today, want your comments read, make sure again, you can use that super chat, even if it's 99 cents, whatever it is, I will read your super chats. I'll do my best to read as many of these as I can, but that's where we're at, guys. So relax. I'll get through this. Okay. Our defensive line from right to left is pretty stacked. I would agree. That was the one position I wasn't worried about going into the portal. If we happen to lose a player or two there, I think we add at least a player, but that's where you're going to be. And even if Juju were to somehow hit the portal, which again is never going to happen, I wouldn't be as worried. Obviously, I think we would all worry a little bit, not be happy because of how much resources we put into that, but that's not happening. Okay. That's not happening. A lot of people, though, are saying this. Rodney, I agree. Don't worry. We still got people. Things are going to be okay. Things are going to be okay, though. Okay? We need to develop those freshmen, sophomores. Getting players from other teams that don't have production is not a good look. Or we can get players who have production who are ready to step up to the next level like we talked about yesterday. That's the key that people are completely ignoring that happens when it comes to this. Sincere Brown visiting earlier is clutch for CU. Yeah, if we want good portal news, Sincere Brown has changed his visit from spring game in 2 weeks to this weekend. Okay. And I would agree with Kai here. I think that bodes well for us. That is Sincere Brown saying, you know what? Colorado is a priority to me. I want to go visit it now. I'm going to want to get attention as well because, guys, as we've talked about it, when it comes to that spring game, the line is out the door for recruits and visitors. So you're not going to get as much one-on-one time with your position coach or Coach Prime or understanding the program or getting kind of that behind-the-scenes sneak peek. So Sincere Brown visiting earlier, that's a good sign that he's probably a lock to come to Colorado. I'm saying that now. I'm putting my seal of approval there, but absolutely. I hear you, Russ, but how much time do you think we'll even have to get replacements if we're not 100% sure if we can get the ones that are in the portal that will be official locks? We will have plenty of time. The portal has not officially opened yet. Again, if this was 2 weeks from now that these players were leaving, we found this out, a little bit different. We've got enough time. Don't worry, Robert. Don't worry. Juju and hit in the portal. Yes, we know. It's definitely not happening. There we go. Keith coming in with the super chat. Everybody panic. I know. It's absolutely hilarious. I love it, though. Appreciate the super chat, Keith. Appreciate you coming by and handing that out. Love it. Northside, we have Ben at safety as of now. Okay? Don't worry. Okay? I 100% agree, but still, who's going to pick up a subpart? I know you guys are talking about Terrell Timmons. We'll have to see what happens with him. Welcome in, Lady C. Appreciate you dropping by on this Wednesday afternoon. Yes, Sincere Brown is a wide receiver. Go look at his tape, by the way. You can Google him. He absolutely destroyed at Campbell last year. Now, I get what a lot of people will say. It's not Division I. Blah, blah, blah. Guys who destroy at Division I are not usually guys who are leaving a program, okay? So just so you know, do not worry about that. The fact is, he absolutely destroyed at Campbell, and the tape does not lie. That guy is ready to play Division I football, and I hope it's with Colorado because it would just increase the already unbelievable room that we have, okay? Absolutely. Portal opens on the 17th. That is correct. I believe that is true. Let me double check. Spring portal football. Yep, April 16th, actually, Kai. So April 16th through the 25th is the spring portal. So we're getting close, guys. We are getting close. Still about a week away from portal opening. So this is the time that you're going to start seeing more and more players entering the portal. Okay? This is that time. And this is why I said, don't panic just yet, guys. Don't panic just yet. We're going to be fine. Northside, I do not. And I don't know if anybody has this number just yet. Maybe after today, we'll be able to get that number now that the roster has been official. That is my guess, but I'm going to look out for that and see what happens. Okay. going back through some of the comments, Bright, remember when Dylan left? Hey, remember when Nikai Hill-Green left? Remember when we got Nikai Hill-Green, guys? By the way, Nikai Hill-Green and Colton Hood came in the spring portal last year. Okay, both very effective, very good impact players. So to anybody that may think, hey, the spring portal is not going to be as good, those are two guys that can show that, yes, you can get a lot of very, very good players here. Okay, very, very good players when it comes to this program. I'm going to keep refreshing on Twitter too to make sure I catch anything that breaks just in case it happens. But it's been confirmed in multiple times that, Isaiah Augustov is gone from the program. So that is for sure happening. That for sure has happened. That's the one that we can confirm officially as of right now. The rest of it, all speculations. That's where we're at. Okay. Russ, do you think we need to get that Xavier guy's alignment enter the portal from Memphis? I mean, I looked at his stats. I looked at everything he has. Absolutely. I would love to have him. He was an impactful player. I'm going to have to, let me go look actually, now that I think about it. Memphis transfer portal. Let me see if I can find his name if you guys don't already have it. Okay. Okay, I got it. It is Xavier Hill. Let me pull up his stats, guys. I'll pull up his grades and let you guys know what I think about him. He's somebody to keep an eye on. Also, another player just recently entered the portal from Missouri that could be a guy that we would be interested in. So let me take a look here. PFF grades college. Let me get it pulled up. Once I get it pulled up, guys, I will let you guys know what it looks like for Xavier Hill. We can talk about that here. Okay, sign in. Give me 2 seconds, guys. Sorry, apologize for that. Let me find Xavier Hill. Oh, yeah, I forgot. I got to go premium stats. Then I got to go college. There we go. Then by player, search for player Xavier Hill. There it is. Okay, guard out of Memphis, guys. I'm bringing up his stats right now so you guys can take a look. Because, again, this is what we're looking at. So, guard, 6'4", 318 pounds, has entered the portal as a grad transfer. A little bit about him. Two-time first-team all-conference tackle. Began his career at LSU. Okay, so all-conference play. Whoa! Whoa! Whoa, whoa, whoa. Whoa. Guys. Well, there's my one of my high players on my wish list already. Wow. Wow, wow, wee wow. Look at this. 71 overall grade his first year at Memphis. This year he had an 84 grade. 84 for Xavier Hill, guys. This guy is in the portal at guard. I mean, if we want a veteran guard for next year on the right side next to Chrysler, holy crud. Xavier Hill's going to probably want him at the bag too, just so you know. Because you come up with these grades, look at some of these games. Florida State, it didn't do as well, 66, but pass blocking, 85. Whoo. Tulane, 70. Oh, here we go. West Virginia. That's a game that we're going to have. In his bowl game against West Virginia, he had a 75.3, guys. USF, 70. His best game came against UAB, 87. Not as good pass, but great rushing. Oh, man, guys. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking here, okay? We'll see. We better be throwing the bag at a guy like this, but he's probably, you're right, going to a blue blood program. If he's in it for the money, he's in it for the money. But, man, that's Xavier Hill for you. As far as the Missouri guy, let me bring up his stats for you guys real quick as well. I will bring up that player as well. Let me pull up the name for Missouri. Okay. Jakai Lang. Okay, let's find out what Lang's grades are, shall we? Oh, let's see. Where are you, Jakai? There he is. Okay, guys. So Jakai Lang, just so you guys can know what we've got going on. I'm on offense. Let's switch to defense. Okay, interesting, guys. The grades are not as high as you guys would think for somebody that you guys are talking about has no chance of coming to Colorado, is going to be going for the bag. 65 defensive grade. Looks like his best attribute is tackling. Pass rushing is at a 69, so outside of that good level at 70. Best game, though, against Arkansas, 83. Also, Buffalo, 71. His worst games, he averages in the low or the high 50s, it looks like, against Bama and some of the other SEC schools. Now, see, this is a player that's interesting, guys. This is a player that's interesting, and you know why it's interesting? It's obvious that he's struggled a little bit in the SEC. Would you guys not say if a guy like this came to the Big 12 and played against some of the teams that we're going to see, could you see his grades increasing and going up? Young kid too, by the way, only 1 year at Missouri, young kid hitting the portal. Okay. That's something to pay attention to. That's something to pay attention to. Okay. Don't give a damn. Don't bring that up. Okay. I bet you money see you can't afford him. We just paid our coach over $10 million and he's the top 4 paid coaches. We've got money, guys. It's not about the money. It's about the right fit and how much we want to pay for a guy who's not coming here just for the bag, but coming here for the exposure, coming here to be on the top stage, and coming here to get themselves set up to go to the NFL. Okay? Absolutely. I think a lot of people would have thought the BJ Green would not have come to Colorado last year for the same exact reason. There were other top players in the portal that ended up in Colorado at the time. I mean, look at the winter portal. Jaheim Otis was one of the top-rated transfers in the entire portal. And I had plenty of people, you might have been included, that said we had no chance at getting Jaheim Otis because he was going to get the bag. So let's not immediately go to that. Real quick, I got to jump in. East Coast Kev coming in massive with the $10. You hate to see players get eaten by the transfer portal monster, but we must remember what the portal taketh away, the portal will giveth back. Next man up. Exactly. A guy like this coming in, Jakai Lang, I think he could be even better at Colorado next year. Okay. And obviously he's got some room to develop, being that it was his first year. A guy like Xavier Hill, who is absolutely unbelievable. Could he come here for 1 year and make a big difference on a team that has a history of bad line play? Imagine coming in and being an All-American on our line, getting the exposure that Colorado does, and not only that, but getting a ton of people in the country to talk about you because Colorado's line has been so bad. Think about it, a complete turnaround if we all of a sudden dominate, guys. What that would mean for a guy like an Xavier Hill draft-wise. If that kid's goal is the NFL, I couldn't think of a better place for him to go than Colorado, especially because if he comes in, he knows he's starting day one. He's not going to have to compete for that guard spot. He's going to come in and be a dog and get that guard spot from day one and not have to worry about that. There's that too. There's that too. How I feel about this, if they can play, pay them, but make sure they fit. Absolutely. Northside coming in with the $1.99. I appreciate you too. What's the philosophy behind Ross structure? Explain a little more, Northside, what you're trying to say with that. I'm happy to answer your question, especially because you gave that $1.99. I appreciate it. I do. I appreciate it. Prime doesn't want players that want money. Prime wants money. What's wrong with players wanting the bag too? We've been bit by this, Kai. We've been bit by this. And a lot of teams have been bit by this. I can go through the history of players who are just chasing a bag and end up at multiple schools. King gets it. King gets it absolutely. I mean, Coach Prime is literally on repeat every single day saying it's not about the bag. I don't want a guy that comes in. If the first thing out of your mouth is when I talk to you, roster, sorry, no worries, Northside, no worries. Okay, what's the philosophy behind roster structure? Okay, well, the philosophy behind Prime's roster structure, and he has said it, is, he wants to bring in freshmen that are impact players day one. He does not want to have to sit all of his freshmen for them to transfer out and lose that development time and effort and resource that they spent on that player to leave. We're looking at anywhere between 15 to 20 high schoolers. The rest of it is going to be made up of older veterans, transfer players that have shown that they have production. Okay? Coach Prime does not want to bring in somebody who's also just chasing the bag. If you want the bag, go to Oregon, go to Ohio State, go to Bama, wherever it is that you want to go. Come to Colorado because you're going to make money. Mind you, you're not going to not make money. It's not that we don't have money. It's not that we don't have resources. But why go after somebody whose sole goal is to just make money in college when their sole goal should be making money in the NFL? Look at our pro day, guys. Look at the pro day that Colorado just held. Are any other programs offering pro days as big as Colorado just did for all of its players, not just its quarterback? Okay? Not just its quarterback. So that's where it's at. Okay? That is where it's at. CU makes real money from NIL. I mean, Shador is the first ever Nike athlete in college. And he wasn't even on Oregon. That big D tackle went to Oregon last year and got the bag, and he's getting drafted in the first round. I'm not just talking about him. Are there cases where it's both ways? Yes. But a lot more often than not, the players who chase the bag end up leaving schools and going elsewhere. You know why? Because the expectations put on that player are higher if they're going to pay them a large amount of money. It's a business when it comes to paying players a big amount of money. If you don't perform, you're gone. Okay? Bear Alexander. Okay? The guy's been chasing a bag since he entered college. And now he has that stigma on him and he's walking around, going to different schools, just chasing money. Not chasing the best opportunity for him, not chasing the best place for him to develop, not chasing the best place that's going to get him drafted. Those schools, number one priority above all else, and it's going to sound stupid, and I'm sure there's going to be some people who come here and say, that's a dumb case. But Coach Prime's number one priority is getting these guys to the NFL. Okay? So for every player that you name who got a bag and chased a bag and is going first round, I can name 10 more on the Ole Miss roster that chased a bag and are not going to the NFL and are now looking for other teams. Do we need to talk about it? Do we need to talk about a certain player that was supposed to come to Colorado but went to Ole Miss last moment and is now without a team? We can just keep going with that. And I can absolutely see that. If that's what his prerogative is and he wants to get money, absolutely. Morning Coffee, the only one that's confirmed so far is Isaiah Augustov is gone. The running back is gone off the programs. Oh, and here's the thing. It's not that we could afford them. It's that we didn't want to pay them that money. We have other roster requirements, and we don't want to just throw the bag at one single player way more than everyone else. If you go into Coach Prime's office and you say how much he's going to tell you to walk out that door and leave. Okay? It's Amos. Amos was committed to Colorado on our roster. He gets the bag from Ole Miss. He jumps ship and goes to Ole Miss. He used us for leverage to get more money and left. And guess where he is now, guys? That's what I'm trying to say. It's not a surprise. I say this on every show we talk about the portal. I say this on every show that we talk about the roster and recruiting. If you walk into Coach Prime's office and say, how much are you paying me? Coach Prime is going to tell you to go, kick rocks, go find somewhere else. You want to go to Ole Miss, you want to go to Oregon, you want to go to USC, fine, go. That's not how we're going to play things. You come in Coach Prime's office and you say, hey, Coach, this is what I want to offer your team. I want to be a part of what you're building. I believe that I can be a part of that and turn this program around. I want to be here. Coach Prime will say, great, here's the paper, sign. Okay, let's go ahead and get you some money while we're talking about that. That's literally what happens in Coach Prime's office. I can tell you guaranteed. So everybody out there that's like, we can't afford this player, or Coach Prime doesn't want to, we're cheap. We don't want to. That's not it at all. Coach Prime is looking for specific players. We don't have the opportunity when it comes to roster to waste spots on players who are not going to be impactful to this program. A Georgia, a Bama, an Oregon, an Ole Miss all have that opportunity. Do you know why? Because they have decades of roster building under their belts. They have the depth. They have the line of players out the door so far. This is year 3 for Coach Prime. Year 3. Yes, they did, because they believed. They believed in the program. That's my point. There's always going to be a team that's going to outbid Colorado just for the sake of outbidding Colorado. The point is that Coach Prime is building a roster not just on money. And yeah, if those guys came and they gave him more than anybody else, you know what that does to the rest of the roster in the room? Like, again, I feel like I'm swallowing crazy pills with some of these points you're bringing up. Like, you're not listening, because that exactly proves my point. You've got to believe. And then when you succeed at Colorado, because we are in the spotlight more than any other program out there, you are going to get NIL opportunities that will supersede any money that you would get paid in pocket at those other programs, because you are going to be at the top of everyone's list. 100% prove the point. Not all of them. Not all of them. It's not every single player that it's only about money. We saw that. You literally just proved the point. Juju, Cardi took less money to play for Coach Prime because they believe in what this program is going to do. It's right here. Kai's got it. Kai's got it. Appreciate you coming in, Jake. I love your eyebrows. Thank you for dropping by. This is what we're all at. Some of y'all think that CU is the only program that's on national TV every week. No. But which program is on ESPN weekly? Even in the offseason. Last time I checked, I have not heard a peep about Georgia, Oregon. Guess what? I just turned on ESPN today. Guess what they're talking about? Shedeur Sanders in Colorado. I mean, that's where we're at. It's a completely different thing. Morning Coffee gets it. Morning Coffee absolutely gets it. Absolutely. You guys get it. Okay? You guys get it for sure. Well, here's the difference, buddy. That never actually happened. We know that didn't happen. Okay? That's just a bunch of, those guys acting like they're better than they are. I mean, it gets me going sometimes with this craziness, these crazy pills that I feel like I'm taking sometimes. Oh, man. Why do you think Shedeur Sanders brings the clicks originally? I mean, everybody talks about it. There's a lot of stuff. I mean, Coach Prime's on 3 different shows today, by the way. Coach Prime is on national TV every day mentioning Colorado, mentioning recruits needing to come here, mentioning players by name. I love this. Kai, thank you so much. Thank you, Kai. I love this analogy. I think this is true. Because again, here's the thing, and I know what's going to come. I can guarantee I can say it before you even type it in the chat, because I'm waiting for Don't Give a Damn to type this in the chat. Well, what about Georgia, who has an entire garage full of Ferraris, and Oregon that has an entire garage full of Ferraris? That's what wins you national championships. The problem is, when you are building wealth, you are not going to start out with a garage full of Ferraris. Nope. You start a business, you're going to start out with a garage full of reliable cars that are going to get the job done as best as they can. And as you build that wealth, as you grow, you're going to upgrade and you're going to get better. And look at what we've have happen. It's the roster building that's going on. Everybody is just so quick to write off Coach Prime and his ability to rebuild Colorado because we haven't won a national championship in 3 years. We have improved every year. The roster has improved. See, I knew it. I knew you were going to say that because it literally proves my point right there. I mean, it's the best thing. So the fact is that we started out with a garage that was literally full of like little tiny mini bikes, little child's bicycles. That is what Coach Prime walked into. And you know what he said? I'm going to throw out all the bicycles and I'm going to bring in, some Honda Civics into the garage. Just some smaller, reliable cars to get me by and improve on what I had prior. And then the next year, what does he do? I'm going to upgrade a little more. I'm going to take out those Hondas. We're going to remove some of those. We're going to upgrade with some Toyotas, with some, better, bigger Hondas. And then you know what I'm going to add in there too? I'm going to throw in a Ferrari by the name of Jordan Seaton. Okay? I'm going to throw in a Jordan Seaton to add to my collection. Okay? We're just getting better a little bit. Then this offseason, what do we get? We get a Julian Lewis. We get a Cardi Smith. Okay, now we're adding a second Ferrari to the vehicles, and we're pushing out some of those older Hondas from that first year. And we're going to now replace them with a little bit better. Okay? So there you go. It's slowly but surely replacing some of the old, adding in some new, throwing in one, really nice car here and there, and bam. You've got a program that's getting better and better and better. And as you get better and better, the vision gets seen by kids across the country. Okay? And it's going to get better, guys. It's going to get better. So that's where it's at. We've got to spend our money wisely because, that's just the smart thing to do. Rather than throw it all at one or two players, we need more than that. We need more than that, okay? We do. So it's something to think about, something to understand as we go through this and what's going on right now with the portal. It's going to get worse before it gets better. It happens every portal cycle. We crash out because so-and-so left. Gosh, if we go back to that first portal or even last year's portal, I mean, think of the players that people crashed out on that went on to do nothing. There's not a ton that went on to do a lot. Dylan Edwards is probably the biggest loss that we've had in those 4 years. And my big question to you guys is, Ohio State does have a full of exotics. But my question to you is, if we kept Dylan Edwards, would we be, an undefeated team as far as having that skill on our team? I don't know. Buddy. I'll appreciate the joke. Okay, I'll appreciate the joke and say it. I hate to say this, BYU, KSU, KU, and other teams are developing players that's better than our players. Well, yes, because they've had years to do it, Northside. BYU literally has guys who come back from missions 2 years after high school and then come and do that, okay? And this is true, too. Nakai Hill-Green was a massive loss, okay? Can we fix it? We'll have to see. We'll have to see if we can fill that or not. Just remember that we filled Nakai Hill-Green's spot through that spring portal last year. So again, we got to be patient with this. This is the perfect time. This is the crash out before we start celebrating and getting excited about the players we bring in. Right now, if I told you tomorrow that a guy like Hill from Memphis came to Colorado, how would you guys be feeling? And hey, I like this too. I had him writing off as he was going to the league. The fact that he went to Bama after all of it's said and done, little surprising. So we're being smart with our money. We're making sure that we're getting our return on investment. We don't have the ability, guys, to miss on too many players. We do not have the luxury to miss on too many players. If we go out and buy 2 Ferraris and they both break down, we are screwed, guys. We are screwed. Yeah, Ohio State, they have 10 Ferraris in the garage already. If they bring in another and it breaks down, guess what? They've got 9 more right behind it. We don't have that luxury. But again, we've got to go out for the productive players that fit what we are looking for. Okay? We've got the money to go spend on productive players who fit our platform and fit our program. And players whose simple goal is to make as much money as possible in college are not who Coach Prime believe will fit our roster, and they don't. It's already been seen. Those type of players who are about themselves, those players do not fit Coach Prime. We do pay our players. We do. But again, it's about something more than just the money in your pocket. It's about the resources you're going to get. It's about the coaching you're going to get. It's about the connections that you're going to receive. And it's about the attention you're going to get on this team. It's as simple as that. That's where we're at. Guys, we're almost at 500 viewers. I appreciate you so much joining me today. Appreciate you being a part of this. So, hey, really quickly, hey, go like it. Go like the video. Oh my gosh. Morning Coffee. Appreciate you coming in big with the $20. We don't speak on that quitter Edwards. Coach Prime coached that boy from Little League and he slid out the back door. We good. Like I said, would I love to have Dylan Edwards on this roster had he stayed? Yes. Did I think that it was the end of the world when he left? No. Okay. There are plenty of players out there. And if anything, we have a player on our roster just like Dylan Edwards in Quentin Gibson. So they're out there. They're out there. They're 100% out there. So again, it isn't as big of a loss. Now, if we lose a Julian Lewis to the portal, again, not saying we are, please do not, think that I'm saying that. That's a little bit different. 5-star quarterbacks do not grow on trees. Okay. But running backs, receivers, any of the skill positions, they do grow on trees. And so we can fill those spots again, guys. We really, really, really can. Okay. Okay. So that is where we are at real quick. Okay. So that's what's going on. Again, appreciate Morning Coffee. $20 is so generous. I really, really do appreciate it. That's awesome. Thank you so much. We'll shout you out at the end as well. Yeah, and you get it here. It is. It's a position by committee. You don't spend all that money on just one running back. Unless they're literally LaDainian Tomlinson, Adrian Peterson. I mean, guys that literally put a whole team on their back and go to a national championship 100%. Okay? Appreciate your Morning Coffee. That was so generous sharing that coffee with me. And I do get it. Dylan Edwards, part of it was being closer to home. It still sucks, but like I said, not as big of a loss. Do what Ohio State did, spend big in the portal and get those productive players who are dogs. Ohio State was literally handed $100 million to build a roster. Okay? They're not a rule. They are the exemption to that rule. And no team is going to match them. If they want to go buy a college football championship, or Michigan, did that. But Ohio State also just a lot of years of doing this. We'll spend when we need to. We'll spend when we're ready. Okay. If we've got a roster that is 1 or 2 players away from a national championship, then you go spend. I mean, it's simple math when it comes to professional sports. If you are a player or 2 away from a national championship, you feel, you go spend. Okay. If Isaiah Augustov goes to Wyoming, that will be a good game. Can't let him get nothing. We don't have, nobody has Ohio State money. That's like 2 teams, 3 teams in the country that has that. We've got the money that we need. Oh, God. You're ignoring everything I just said. So we're just going to move on with it because the fact is that I just explained why we're not just going to go spend like crazy on random players. Okay. You ignore everything we just talked about because I literally just laid it out to you. And everybody else laid it out to you. So that's where we're up. So no worries about that. Hey guys, I appreciate you joining me for this impromptu stream. 500 people is an absolutely unbelievable stream. All of the super chats. I'm going to go ahead and give some shout outs again. Keith with the $1.99, East Coast Kev with the 10, Northside with the $1.99, and Morning Coffee with the $19.99 coming in clutch. Thank you so much. Appreciate you for doing that today. That is some awesome way to support me. Again, make sure you're liking this video. We're subscribed. Hey, we're almost to that 5,000 mark, guys. You guys keep just absolutely crushing it, killing it on those subscribers. It's just absolutely unbelievable to see. Let's see where we're at right now. I'll give you a live update right now. We are at 4,890 subs, 110 away from that 5,000 mark. So appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. I'm excited for Draylon Miller. He can come out of the backfield, go deep. Draylon's going to be a massive part of this team, guys. I wouldn't be surprised if he ends up with the number one. We are not winning a natty. Let's start with the Big 12 first. That's the goal. That's my goal. Get to the Big 12 championship. Hood is healthy. Augustov knew the writing was on the wall. That running back room is still pretty deep, guys. Absolutely. I want to see Prime win a championship or bowl game. That's all. I think we do win a bowl game this year, guys. I do think we win a bowl game. Do we have any more recruits coming to visit? Yes, we do. Sincere Brown out of the portal, Rodney, will be here this weekend. He is coming to Colorado early. He was supposed to come for the spring game. He's coming in early. Beth, we lost Isaiah Augustov, the running back. We might have lost a couple more players, but it has not been confirmed, so I don't want to really report on it. But Isaiah Augustov has been confirmed to have left the program, who was technically, I believe you would count him as our starting running back last year, is no longer with us in the program, but we will at least add a running back in the portal. We need Sincere Brown. I think he's coming this weekend. Yep, he is. We are going to be good. Guys, the running back's going to come. When you have Marshall Faulk in the coaching room for Colorado, you know that we're going to get some really good portal running backs, okay? It absolutely will be a priority, and Marshall Faulk will absolutely get somebody. So, Cliff, just so you know, I'm just a loud person. This isn't even me yelling, okay? But sometimes I do get very passionate. I'm also just a very loud person. So just so you're aware, if you're newer around these parts, yes, I get loud. I'm just a very loud person. My voice carries. My voice goes up, just so you know. Apologies to your headphones. I try not to do it too much. It doesn't happen often. It just takes that special rant to come in where I get loud. But this is me just being loud. I know I can turn down the volume. Problem is, it's just so much up and downs. And I'm literally on one. Let's see. There you go. I'll turn down a little. You're good. No, Cliff's good. Cliff's good, guys. Passionate and yelling are two different things. Appreciate it, eyebrows. We don't know because it's not public. They're not going to usually comment on that. Maybe when Augustov gets to his new program, he might say why he decided to leave Colorado. But until that happens, we probably will not know. Okay. So that's where we're at. I get that we got Marshall Faulk. He's not putting on those pads. They need more in that room. Outside of Dallin and Micah, sprinkled in with Charlie. That room needs more. And don't forget Colton Brandon Hood. I think he's going to surprise some people. But I think you got to realize that, yes, we've got Marshall Faulk. He's going to want to bring in somebody that he brings in, guys. Coaches like bringing in their own guys because there are certain characteristics that each coach looks for that's different. What Coach Flea wanted in a running back might be different than what Marshall Faulk wants in a running back. So I trust Marshall Faulk more than anything else to go and get the guy that he wants in that program, and he'll get to do that. Yeah, we know that Keaton Wade's hurt. That's why I'm not saying for sure that he's gone. He's just not on the roster currently, and that's all that we know. Okay, that's a fact. You can go look, by the way, the CU roster is live for the spring roster. That's why all this started to happen. A few players were left off of it. So people asked, and at least we got Isaiah Augustov confirmed that he is no longer with the program. Okay, absolutely. Yep, you're welcome. After watching the run game last year, what productive running back wants to play in this offense? Just asking, because it's not going to be that offense. Okay. I can go back and watch the worst year of any football team's running and say, why would I go join that program? The fact is that you can talk to the coaches and ask them, what is the plan? And everything is being said that this is going to be a more two-dimensional offense. And a lot of that has to do with we brought in a running quarterback, guys. That's not what Shador was. We brought in a running quarterback. That alone should tell you what's going to happen to this team. You know, I hate this dude so much. I really wanted Isaiah Augustin. I loved him. He's my favorite running back in the room. But this is true too. It looks like he was a little bit off with how Marshall Faulk does things. So that's just where it is. What's up, David? Appreciate you dropping by. We're going to have to do a Buffs blitz soon, by the way, especially with all this news starting to drop and the portal about to open. We need to probably do a portal show where you and I start looking at the portal positions and portal players out there. I already looked at 2 guys today on the stream that look pretty good for Colorado as potentials. So let's chalk that up and talk about that and plan that out. 23 was definitely the best running back that left. Oh, I know. And I loved what he did. The thing I loved about Isaiah Augustov was every play he went for positive yards. Even when he got tackled in the backfield, he was able to push forward and at least get a yard or two, which is an absolute great attribute to have in your running backs. And probably the difference with Hayden last year for whatever reason. But Hayden put on more pounds, which I think is him saying, I'm going to be that guy next year. I'll miss Isaiah, but best of luck to him. I think it's clear now. Falk wants pass catchers. That's true too, David. Good point. I'm sure you're going to talk about that on your stream. Absolutely great point. Falk does want pass catchers, and Isaiah Augustov wasn't the greatest pass catcher out of the backfield. Okay, so yeah, I think that's something to look at too. I definitely thought as soon as Falk came in, I knew we were going to get at least one running back, which meant that a running back was going to leave. I think everybody thought that it was Hayden that was going to leave, but Hayden's been getting a steady dose of the starting spot this spring. So the roster and the coaches definitely feel different than we do, the fans. But again, they know more than we do. They see this team more than we do. So that's what's going on there. Okay, that's what's going on. Don't worry, King of Dance. We'll get that out there. We'll get a live Buff Blitz going. So keep an eye out for that here coming soon, especially with the portal opening next week. Okay, guys, I'm going to cut it here. I know I want to keep going. There's 600 people in here. I appreciate you. If you all hit like right now, if you're all subscribed, we're going to be pretty darn close to that 5,000 subscriber mark. So make sure you hit that. So that's what we're going. Do you think we need to get 2 or 1 running back? I mean, at minimum 1, could we see 2? Maybe if 2 impact players want to come to Colorado, they're not going to say no. They're going to say you're going to have to compete. If a guy's fine with competing, heck, I want him on my team. But you're always going to have running backs who are going to, be a little wishy-washy on that. Appreciate you, buddy. Appreciate everybody coming in. Appreciate David and my other member of the community, by the way, guys. If you want, you can be a member of Buffs News Weekly. If you are at the $5 mark, you get access to all 22 footage for Colorado through a link. Right now, Tim Stopp is our only full member of a Buff News Insider. And then my cup of coffee member is, of course, David Talks Buffs. So appreciate both of you for being members of the channel. As that membership joins and gets bigger, we'll start to do more stuff with membership. Just FYI, guys. So if that all interests you, super cheap way, you don't even have to do super chats. Do that. It's once a month, $2, $5, depending on which level you want. Supports the channel. Awesome for anybody that does that. So I appreciate you guys so much. Hit that like on your way out. Of course, be subscribed. Thank you guys for joining me today for Buffs News Weekly Live. I'm your host, Russ Dornish. Go Buffs.